Elliot and I have known each other since high school. He was my go-to person regarding anything plastic, and I knew he could pull this off, and when I was ready to come together with a concept, we co-designed these things together.
Jeff had a loose drawing from the architect, but it was pretty much up to the two of us to cook up something.
Well, the original design of the building had a vague rendering of a louver effect on the front of the building. We needed something that would allow the view capability at the living space, and also created some sort of a shade to the overall house itself.
When the contractor Jeff came in, he had some very loose ideas of a fin or a form, some kind of wing that they were going to put together.
Jeff and I went over to our color display rack, which has got all the different colors of Lucite as well as other materials. And Jeff was real keen on the Lucite offerings.
We looked at colors, we looked at thicknesses. A lot of the strength had to come from the plastic itself. The plastic makes the frame extremely strong.
Lucite was always the material of choice, because the color options and the frosted finish.
The Lucite Frost ended up being a really good fit. Number one, the color. Number two, the thickness that we needed. Number three, it came in a size sheet, an 80 by 120 inch sheet.
I was concerned about it lasting the test of time. I didn't want something to yellow. My biggest question was, will this last in the sunlight?
Looking at all the offerings that Lucite has, they did pick one that architecturally and aesthetically, in the end, I don't think they could have made a better choice.
I had certain requirements that I felt that I needed, something that could be formed, something that would look somewhat like glass, like glazing.
The LuciteLux was a great fit for this project because of the formability of the product. It forms very well.
Some of the angles in the panels, I'm just not quite sure how that would be done using glass.
When you take a sheet of acrylic by itself, before you do anything to it, it's not super rigid. But if you thermoform it into a three-dimensional shape, just like a piece of paper, it picks up rigidity.
We had to have prefab forms of the aluminum profile to be able to match that exactly, because once that installer was up in the air, he needed those to be exactly right on.
It's basically thermoforming, which is heating up the plastic to 275 degrees. That's where acrylic starts to become formable. We had a lot of cycles coming out of the oven. We had about 6 guys at once pulling these panels out, draping them on the form.
So in order to be able to get this off the form, we had to design one that allowed us to get that finished part off without doing any damage to it.
But to get them off, you had to actually slide them off.
Shortly after we finished, one of the largest winter storms in a long time to come through came in and really tested the whole installation.
And I was, to say the least, extremely nervous. It was a test of tests when it came through, and I was here, of course, the next morning, and they were perfectly intact.
Oh, the most fun part was seeing it finally installed, and the way it's all balanced on the outside is just absolutely perfect.
I think the favorite part of this project was putting these fins on. It was the last thing we did. It was the icing on the cake.